Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read you this, and then I'm going to explain how amazing this is. Evening newscasts 150 times more negative towards Trump than Biden, study says. That's not news reporting, that's a negative advertising campaign in action. The evening newscasts on ABC, CBS, and NBC have been 150 times more negative when covering President Trump compared to presumptive 2020 Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden. Yeah, right. Eventually, it will be Clinton. During the debates and on that ballot on November 3rd, she will lose again, but she's the best candidate they have. I'm not a fan, but even I can tell you, and I've predicted this, and it'll be the biggest prediction of all time. Again, they don't have a nominating process. The whole thing's a charade. Just ask the people who designed the app in Iowa. The Media Research Center analyzed all statements made by reporters, anchors, and nonpartisan sources such as experts or voters, made on CBS Evening News, NBC Nightly News, and ABC World News Tonight from June 1st to June 31st. The findings showed that Biden has received 8 positive statements, with only 4 negative comments made about the former vice president in a 2-month period. Okay, but when it comes to Trump, the study showed that coverage has been overwhelmingly negative. Now, I've always told you the media is apoplectic, seething, fuming, hysterical, fanatical, manic, maniacal. I've told you this. I mean, anyone can see that media is now pretty much an extension of the Democratic Party. It used to be hyperbole, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, or 10 years ago, maybe it was hyperbole. Now it's reality. But check this out. CBS Evening News, NBC Nightly News, and ABC World News Tonight made a whopping 634 negative evaluative statements about Trump. 634 negative statements about Trump over the same time period. So in 2 months, this is unbelievable. In 2 months, Biden has 8 negative statements about him, 8 negative comments. Trump has 634 almost certainly. How many of the 634 negative comments compared to the only 8 negative comments for Biden? Can you believe that? And they're still going to lose on November 3rd. The meltdown will make 2016 look like the most wonderful time in the Democratic Party's history. The evening newscast made 34 positive comments about the president. I don't believe that, actually. But 634 negative evaluative statements about Trump over the same time period. So you had 634 negative statements in a 2-month period for Trump, and 4 negative comments made about former vice president. 634 negative comments about Trump, negative evaluative statements. 634 to only 4 about Biden. They are working overdrive. They are working overtime. They've sold their souls to Tom Perez and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Madam Secretary and Bill Clinton and the Democratic Party and Hollywood. The media is not only are they not objective, but they're actively pursuing, or they're actively undermining. They're complicit. They're actively undermining a presidency because they want a Democrat in office. And he is still, and this is why it's so amazing, he is still virtually tied with Biden in swing states, according to CNN. In swing states, you know how they wanted to do away with the Electoral College? Well, they haven't done so. Thankfully, they can't. They would need, 2/3 of the House and Senate, 2/3 of the states. But they want to do away with the Electoral College. But they have state primaries, and their primary facade, charade, scam, racket doesn't run on popular vote. Interesting. They're the biggest hypocrites in the world. I mean, in the universe. Believe with Kavanaugh. Don't believe with Tara Reid. Oh my God, do away with the Electoral College. The popular vote is what counts. The primary system is great. Yeah, we have to actually, each state is important. You have to win each state. It's not, and mail-in voting, very important, very important. But for the primaries in March and April in Wisconsin, Illinois, Florida, and Arizona, totally fine. Vote in person. Millions of people voted in person. Millions. In 4 Democratic primaries spanning March and April during the height of the pandemic, or during the beginning, before we flattened the curve as a country. And so you have President Trump arm wrestling the Democratic Party. He's arm wrestling the Democratic Party, and they're using 2 hands, and he is defeating them. I mean, he's giving them a 20-yard head start in the 100. I mean, and he's still winning. He has every disadvantage possible, and he's laughing hysterically at the Democratic convention, which is a glorified Zoom meeting. I mean, nobody's watching it, but also you got to ask yourself, what is the allure? And this is one of the reasons they'll lose to President Trump, in addition to the fact that they stand for nothing. What is the allure of having establishment Republicans like John Kasich and other Republicans speaking alongside Bernie Sanders? So you've already admitted to the far left that Bernie is no longer trying to, start this wonderful revolution. I mean, God bless him. He's a good human being because, whatever he's trying to do is, based upon or predicated on him trying to improve the lives of people, but he's a walking doormat. And I don't know whether he's in it for the fame or he's just a political creature at heart. Because, if he really wanted to make a change, he would have joined Jill Stein in the Green Party, just like all the wonderful pundits talk about grifting. They say, "Oh yeah, you were a grifter." Like, what? There's nothing lucrative about saying you're going to vote for Jill Stein and not vote for Hillary Clinton. I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet before it was popular. I switched to President Trump before it was popular. You're going to see pundits eventually on the left, a lot more switch to President Trump. I was the first one. Eventually they will, because they're all realizing Bernie Sanders is a walking doormat of the Democratic Party, and they've given up on him. The left, I watch what the 1 million, 2 million, 3 million sub channels are doing. They get the $20 million in venture capital funding and talk about grifting. They milked that Medicare for All wagon for everything it's worth. And then they're like, it's still important. I'm talking about the $50 million or $20 million venture capital funding, the pundits that had to deal with racial discrimination lawsuits, the pundits who didn't get their press pass. And suddenly you see them and the associated channels kind of distancing themselves from Bernie Sanders because they know he's speaking with John Kasich. He's speaking with Republicans. Which gets me back to, what is the allure? This is the reason President Trump won. Because when I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post, I was saying in the Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, Cleveland Plain Dealer, other publications, I was saying that on big issues, especially foreign policy, and the Lincoln Project has proved my point, Kasich proved my point, they're not that different. They're virtually the same. They want a person the media can either manipulate or the media can... they want an establishment person. They don't care if it's Mitt Romney. They don't care if it's President Obama. They don't care if it's Bush. They want an establishment person to say, oh, well, we had to start that NATO intervention to destroy Libya. Sorry about that. Oh, gosh, my worst mistake. They want another Bush to say, gosh, we tried WMD, the intelligence told us, oh, well. Trump isn't like that. Tell me what Trump has done that's worse than what Bush or President Obama did in Libya, or what Bush did in numerous countries. Tell me what Trump has done. Oh my God, he's ruining our democracy. He's an authoritarian. How is he an authoritarian when the Supreme Court strikes him down numerous times, has struck him down numerous times, prevented him from doing numerous things? Federal courts have prevented him. The intelligence community that's supposed to be within the executive branch, within his own jurisdiction, or within his own constitutional authority, has set him up and framed him, and now we have a guilty plea from somebody who deliberately falsified information to set up and frame Carter Page, which led to Michael Flynn setting up and framing Michael Flynn and George Papadopoulos, just to try to get Trump. How is this man an authoritarian? But what has he done? What has Trump done that's worse than what President Obama did in Libya? Chaos and mayhem. That country has been torn apart for the past decade because of the foreign policy of Clinton, Biden, and President Obama, and Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. They're all in the same group, the same party, the same world. What did George Carlin say? He said it's one big club and you're not in it. Well, thank God I don't want to be in that club. I don't want to be associated with, I don't ever want to be associated with people who would just chuckle and disregard the fact that their decisions directly led to an entire country being demolished. Trump, you can't say that with President Trump. He didn't start a failed NATO intervention. He didn't start endless counterinsurgency conflicts because of failed intelligence. But they don't, he's laughing at the DNC because what do they stand for? I mean, who are they trying? The reason Trump won in 2016 is because he's an outsider. And then the DNC, what they do is they say, look, Trump is an outsider. Look at us. Look at John Kasich. Can't you see, Republicans, what you're missing? The reason Trump has a 91 to 96% approval rating in the Republican Party is because he's not John Kasich, you complete and utter imbeciles. The biggest fools. And then they're going to say USPS, just like they said Putin. They said Russia. I mean, it's always this cataclysmic, excuse, the biggest sore losers on the planet, and they project. They're like, well, Trump's not going to accept the election results. Like, you haven't accepted the election results in 4 years. All you do is complain. That's all they do is complain. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's and then you get getting back to my prediction. My prediction number one is twofold. One, that Clinton will be nominee, and two, get ready for 8 years of Trump. President Trump's going to win. I always stated this. He's going to win on November 3rd. I've been saying this for 4 years, and I even said it in 2016 in November, like the day that he won. I'm like, he's going to win again if Democrats don't change, and I've been saying that forever. But whether or not Biden, let's say Biden accepts the nomination, it's all a racket anyway. I do not see them going with Biden before the debates. I see, and I'm not predicting a calamity, God forbid. Because Democrats, there they go, they project again. Judge Jeanine and Jesse Waters, and I've never said anything, like, my whole thing is, people who really understand the Clintons, they're just thinking, okay, the Democrats will change their minds somehow. The process we learned from the DNC fraud lawsuit that Jared Beck, Elizabeth Beck, and Nico House waged, the process we learned from them, because it is a complete and utter charade, theatrical performance, racket, scam. They don't need an actual primary. One of the DNC attorneys stated this in court. They said they can pick their nominee in smoke-filled back rooms. This is a glorified Zoom call. And so you have Madam Secretary speaking. You can rest assured on was it Wednesday or Thursday night? Wednesday night. Her speech is going to be, oh my God, amazing. They're going to just, oh my God, they're going to gush. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best. She'll basically have an acceptance speech. Biden, watch for Biden's speech. I'm gonna listen to Biden's speech on Thursday. If it's anything like his miserably failed basement live streams and town halls or whatever, if he turns into a reptile with a burst vessel, and or like if he meanders off into trying to say that Arizona is a city, or that he's running for Senate, or that we have to make the cure worse than the problem, or he doesn't remember what he's saying. Who knows? I'm going to be watching and listening. And I'm going to be one of the few people watching and listening. Nobody is interested in Biden. There's zero organic support. He has no people on the ground. There are no I'm with Biden people. There are I'm with her people. And when they switch, because she's the best candidate they have, nobody's going to bat an eye. I get just a thrill out of. Why do you think I keep saying it? Aside from the fact that it's going to happen, I get such an amazing. It's so hilarious, because the same people who said that she was so qualified in 2016 and tried to mock and denigrate and insult and silence anyone who, like myself, who said otherwise. No, she's going to lose. I called the 2016 election in 2015. NPR quoted me. The same people who said, oh my God, Clinton is so amazing. These are the same people who are now petrified that Clinton would become nominee. But it's not their call. DNC is a political machine run by both Clintons. I don't see Biden wrestling control of the entire Democratic Party, even if he's nominee. He's nominee the way Bill de Blasio ran for president, or the way that the Iowa app, the app linked to Clinton campaign officials, worked in Iowa. Or the fact that Bloomberg spent, $500 to, by one estimate, $1 billion in 3.5 months. This whole thing has been a complete and utter performance. This is like performance art. They're not really. Do you really think, ladies and gentlemen, to my 17-minute crowd, and by the way, subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel if you want to support my voice long term. My Patreon is below. And if you want to be part of a newsletter to my 18-minute crowd, it's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. So email me there. But do you really think they're interested in Biden? Okay, he was the most pragmatic. He wraps up the nomination. Let's say that takes care of the Bernie or bust crowd, the small, group of delegates that want Medicare for all, because Democrats are just, they were never interested in Medicare for all. They were just using it to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party, just like a bunch of the people who told you to vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016 after they knew Bernie Sanders was cheated. These are the same people who will eventually vote for Clinton again. But my question is, do you really believe that they're interested, that they think that Biden could defeat Trump, even though they're completely apoplectic regarding Trump, but they must know that Biden can't defeat Trump. And Clinton, on the other hand, has a chance because she has the voters. She could be the first female president, and it could be two women against two men, and it'll be like, oh my God, it's now or never, and we've come this far as a country, and don't make the same mistake twice. And the Russians cheated in 2016. Don't let Putin decide the fate of this country. You have a chance to vote for Clinton again. Give me your thoughts below. President Trump has to deal with 150 times more negative coverage than Biden, and Biden is still horrendous. So that should tell you what the Democratic Party is all about. Give me your thoughts. Be here, from here on out. Watch this channel and watch H.A. Goodman's other channel because it's heating up. Give me your thoughts below. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you later this evening for my live stream at around 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific. Be here.